Hi there, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Karen Lanoue, and I'm the author of Attraction in Action and the creator of the Business Attraction Tips podcast and Law of Attraction Tips podcast, which have been downloaded over 12 million times. Now, you are in absolutely the right place if you are a go-getter in business, sales, management, and in life. Now, you are also in the right place if you are wanting to use all resources at your fingertips so you can get what you want out of life smarter and faster. You're absolutely in the right place. I'm going to give you some great tips to get you started. Now, thanks again for joining me. This is the second podcast or the second episode in this series of videos. These are podcasts or recasts of my original podcast. And thank you to those of you that went to my attractmorenow.com site to sign up to get more videos. I'm going to have more and more videos coming out. When people ask questions, I'm going to respond to those questions in videos that are specifically only for people who actually sign up. So please get that, because there'll be a ton more information from that too. Now, I know your time is precious, and I really want to thank you for taking that step to sign up for those videos and also to spend time with me here today, because again, I know your time is precious and I know there's a lot of people vying for your attention, but that's why I'm absolutely committed to making this information as viable and as practical and as usable as possible. My whole goal is really to help you to shift, shine, and grow so you can actually just be living the life of your dreams, which is what you deserve. So last time in our last video in episode 1 and 1A, what I did is I actually introduced my 5-step system, or the 5 steps in my 5-step system. And they are starting to identify what you don't want, what you do want, to ask for it, to allow it, and to appreciate it. And over this series of videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of those. I gave you some homework last time to identify what you don't want, and I'll get to that in a moment. Now, what I want to assure you is that this investment in time that you take in doing this will pay off for you. Now, it really is by going through this process and starting to, again, just follow these steps, because I know I've seen them work over and over and over again. So I want them to work for you as well. Now, last time you'll know that I had asked you to start to identify what you really want in your life and or your business, okay? So, and I wanted you to get into that feeling state, or what I call a feeling state. And no, I didn't say that wrong. Feeling is actually a word that I coined, and it is feeling. It is a highly charged feeling and thought. When they come together, I call them a feeling. And the reason I've actually coined this term is because I want you to understand how important it is to put your energy into the things that you want and to get really pumped up about what you want. And so what I'd like you to do is reconnect with what it was that you identified, or something even new today. What it is that you would really like to be, do, or have in your life. And I want you to just take a moment and get into that feeling state. So again, this is a highly charged, so this is a really positive feeling, a really positive feeling. You want to get into that highly charged state and that feeling state. So just take a moment and connect with that. So what is it that you would really like to have, be, do, or have in your life? This can be anything. This could be material things. There's nothing wrong with that. This could be creating more love in your life, creating a better business that serves more people. Again, for everybody it's going to be different. Please don't judge what you want to be, do, or have. I know there's plenty of people out there to do that for you. Let's not go there. This is our time right now, so just spend some time connecting in with what it would be like, what it would feel like to be, do, or have what you want. So just take that moment and just connect with it. What would it be like? Who would you be talking to? Where are you? What's happening? What's the air feel like? What's the temperature? Are you sitting? Are you standing? Are you lying down? What is that feeling state? All right, so just connect with that for a moment. What I really want you to do is I want you to connect with that state as often as possible, because this is what this is all about. This is truly, and you can ask any of my clients, what I ask them to do consistently is connect in with what it is that they want to be, do, or have. What are the things that they want to create in their life? When you can do that, and that's available to you anytime, when you can really do that, you are in the attraction state, and it's a very powerful attraction state. And here's the key. The more pumped up you can get, the more you can feel it, positively feel it, the faster it's coming to you. Okay? All right. So the other thing I want you to pay attention to is, as you were thinking about that, as you were feeling it, was there kind of a low-level state of sadness or anxiety or worry or something, some kind of negative feeling? You don't even actually have to name it. Just, you'll know the difference between a positive state and a negative state. And that's okay. You know what? Sometimes it just takes time to really connect in with this, because here's the thing. When we were kids, we did this so naturally. There was something that we wanted to be, do, or have, and we got excited. We just got, woohoo, yeah, we could jump up and down and get all excited. I'm going to fall over here. But we get really excited. We were taught not to do that. We were all socialized. Probably everybody all across the whole world at some point as a child was told, tone it down, just don't get so hyped up. And we were, that kind of feeling started to get squashed over time. I want you to reconnect with this. So get excited, all right? Okay, so last time, in the last video, what I did is I gave you some homework. Oh, I'm going to knock this over. I gave you some homework, and I asked you to identify what you don't want in your life. Or, alternatively, and this can actually give a little bit more clarification, what is it that you're tolerating in your life? And so start to identify those things. And actually, in a few moments, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to what do you do with that. But I'm going to bust a few myths in the moment. In the meantime, there's a lot of top people out there who teach the law of attraction, and they choose not to go to this step. And there's really good reasons why. There are the reason why is, of course, we don't want to give any attention to this, right? We don't want to spend any attention or energy and continue to give energy to what we don't want. But here's the myth busting here. If we don't do this, it stays with us. We are in a constant state, on an ongoing state of, we have things around us all the time that we are tolerating, or things that we don't want in our life, and we feel like we can't do anything about it. And or we just forget that it's actually a toleration, or it's something that we really don't want. And we actually almost start to feel like victims. So that's why I find it so important to get to this, because unless we do, it stays with us. And no matter what we do with all this other great stuff, if we don't deal with this part, it actually drags our energy down, and it steals our energy away. Now, for a lot of people, they kind of go, well, how is it possible that people don't know what they don't want? Or it's hard for them to identify? Or why wouldn't it just go away when all the good stuff shows up? Well, here's the thing. I can't tell you how many people, when they when they've come out of a long-term relationship, whether it's been a partnership with their wife or spouse, or a husband, if it's been a long-term friendship, if it's been a partnership in a business, if they've been in a job for a long time, and all of a sudden, for whatever reasons, that falls apart, and they go their separate ways. The person who comes, that I end up talking to, they kind of go, Karen, I can't, it's been so long that I've been doing the same thing, or I've been with the same person, or I've been in the same job or in the same business. I don't even know what I want anymore. Or I don't even know what I don't want anymore. My life is, it's an open book, and that's scary. Here's the other thing that I see for a lot of people, and I'll tell this story, and or it's just kind of an anecdote, and I hope I hope nobody's ever done this, but it's the story of the frog and the boiling water. So if you throw the story as it goes is that if you throw a frog into boiling water, and it's not good, you don't want them to do that. But anyways, if you throw a frog into boiling water, their first reaction is to jump right out. Now, if you put a frog in a pan of cold water, they'll sit there, and then as you turn the heat up, what ends up happening, the water gets warmer and warmer, and they adjust, and and as time goes on, they kind of get a little bit uncomfortable. And then what ends up happening is you turn it more, as the temperature gets turned up more and more and more, they boil to death, right? Does it sound familiar? This is really what we do in our lives, right? I mean, I see this all the time. The temperature gets turned up on our life, and we stay there, and we think, oh, well, maybe it's going to change and it's going to get better, but it doesn't. And so then we end up boiling to death. Well, and a matter of speaking. But the thing is that we end up in a part of our life where all of a sudden we kind of go, how did I get here? I know that's happened for me. That's happened in it's happened in relationships. It's happened in jobs where all of a sudden it's like, or friendships. It's like, how did I get to this place? How did this happen? And I'm not pleased by this. And it's really uncomfortable. So what we want to do is we want to start to move you out of being uncomfortable. Make sense? Yeah. So again, there's a point where a lot of people don't talk about this, or they flippantly say, well, of course you know what you don't want. And here's the thing. I really believe, again, anybody who talks about and teaches people on how to get more of what they want out of life, they certainly are wanting to, they're certainly wanting to help you. But when I hear that people say, well, you should just know this, or it should just come easy, or, if you really if it was really important to you, do something about it. It's like, give me a break. If I knew how to do it differently, I would do it differently. And so I think it's a pretty flippant response, and I think either these people have never experienced, not knowing what they don't want, or they've forgotten. They've forgotten that this is a situation in their life. I know for me, there's a point in my first marriage where all of a sudden I realized, like, oh, and no offense to those people who love to do this, because it's a great thing if you love to do it. But for me, it was just like, I don't like to 4x4. I don't like to hunt or fish. That's just not my thing. I'm a city girl. So for me, all of a sudden it was like identifying, like, oh, I really don't like this. This is really not for me. So here's the next things that you want to do about this, because as the other teachers who don't talk about this, what they're trying to do is have you avoid staying in this energy. But there's other ways to do this. So now what we want to do is we want to deal with what we don't want and with what we're tolerating. And so there's 3 things that I'm going to ask you to do with each of your items. And I want you to pick from each of these 3 things. And I've got some graphics here so you can see what they are. First one is I want you to eliminate it. Is this something that you can eliminate out of your life? There's some things, yeah, I can just eliminate this. I can get rid of it or reduce my time. So for instance, if there is something in our life, like family members or people in our lives, and we know, okay, well, it's a family member, I can't eliminate them out of my life, but what you can do is reduce your time with them, okay? So you can reduce that time with them. Or again, if it's something that you just don't like doing anymore, eliminate it. Just say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So that's number 1. Is this something I can eliminate? All right? Number 2, is this something I can delegate? So let's say it's a task. So something in your business or your work life or even at home. Is this something that it drives you crazy? Absolutely drives you crazy. Is it something you need to delegate? And honestly, on these 3 things, I could spend a whole day workshop, honestly. But certainly, because here's the thing with delegation. For a lot of us, the reason we've fallen into this trap of doing this thing that we really don't like doing is because we think it's too hard to actually ask somebody else to do or teach them how to do it. Nothing could be further from the truth. You actually empower other people to do things or to take control or take responsibility for something if you actually teach them by delegating this task. So again, is this something you can delegate? All right, that's number 2. The third thing, I want you to, again, go through your list of tolerations or things that you don't want. Can you reframe it? Is this something that you can reframe it how you're looking at it? So, for instance, reframing really just means, is there a different way I can look at this? Can I actually just change my mind and think that this is a positive thing? So, for instance, I remember somebody who was a staff member, and this was around customer service, and they really just felt that what they were doing was, and dealing with these customers, was kind of below them. And so they would get really irritated, and of course everything would escalate and it would just be a disaster. And so what I said to them is like, well, why don't you just say, I'd be happy to help you out here? And they just said, well, but I'm not happy. But here's the thing, if you actually switch it around and say, well, no, I am happy. I'm going to actually choose to be happy to help this person out. It changes your energy, therefore it changes their energy. And I can't emphasize how big of a deal that is. It makes a huge difference. Okay, you know, here's another example of reframing. I used to lament that I was not a morning person. Then one day I decided, oh, I'm going to be a morning person. Is better for me, and the things that I want to achieve in my life, to get up early in the morning. So I just started saying to myself, well, I'm a morning person. Yeah, I am a morning person. And I am a morning person. I get up pretty early, and I love it. I love it now. But it really was just starting to reframe. So again, for each of these tolerations or the things that you don't want in your life, what you do by taking action in any of these 3 ways, again, eliminating it or reducing it, your time with it, delegating it, or reframing it, what it does is it shifts your energy. It actually releases that negative energy that we have tied between us and the thing that we don't want or we're tolerating. And that frees up our energy. And actually it allows us to vibrate at a higher level. And that's really what we want to do, because when we're vibrating at a higher level, we are far more attracted to the things that we want. Okay, does that make sense? Now remember, what I'd really like you to do is on my website under attractmorenow.com. Sorry, again, it's attractmorenow.com. There is a part on my site. It's called videos, and this is specifically where you can go and write comments and questions. I would love to hear them, and I will be answering them personally. So please go there and write your comments or your questions. I would love to hear from you. Okay? Now you get the drift of this. I'm hoping you get the drift of this. Again, please go and write your questions or comments. But I'm just touching the surface on this. I take a much deeper dive in my 5-step system to attract anything. And I will have a link, actually, I'll have it at the bottom here and on my site. So again, it's the5stepsystem.com. You want to go check it out because it's very powerful. And again, if you like what you're hearing here, you're going to love what's in this, in the system, because I go so much deeper into each area, into love life, into relationships, into money, into business, and into health. So, so please check it out if it's of interest to you. Okay. So let's get into step 2. Know what you do want. Now, again, a big myth here. The myth is that, well, of course, everybody knows what they want, right? And you know what? It's not true. All you need to do, and you can experiment with this with your friends and your family. Now, if you're talking to an enlightened group, you might get a different answer. But for the most part, when you ask most people this question, they'll actually start with what they don't want. They'll start to talk about what they don't want. Now, as I mentioned before in the first video, most people are, when they're in long-term relationships, whether it's with their friends, their family, job, or business, what ends up happening is that they start to lose their identity, or they've actually never developed it. And they kind of go with the flow or have become part of a bigger whole, and so they actually don't know what they really do want. And so this is where we want to start to talk about that, is start to identify what is it that we do want. Now, this is where people can get really messed up and can take a turn for the worse when it comes with the comes to the law of attraction. Now, remember in the first video I talked about 4 of the problems that people come across, which is, what if law of attraction is too good to be true? Or what do other people think about this? And what if this doesn't work for me? People can get stuck, and you know what? I'm so absolutely determined to start to shift you out of this. Now, here's the thing. Let's just blow this out of the water, okay? Can I have your permission to do that? Yeah, let's go. Let's go for it. All right. Now, I want you to start to bring this into your consciousness. And the fact is that everything on the outside of us is a reflection of what's on the inside of us, okay? So again, really the universe, everything around us is a mirror of what's going on between our ears. And sometimes as wild and wacky and unbelievable as that seems, I just want you to start paying attention to this. Now, when it comes to, we think that law of attraction is too good to be true. Well, here's the mirror. If we think that, it becomes our mirror. So if we're thinking that, we will find evidence of this happening, right? We'll find evidence of it being too good to be true. So in fact, it seems to contradict, it seems to contradict, the law of attraction. But in fact, it's the law of attraction at work. That is just such the weird and wacky thing about this, right? And so here's the thing: when you are talking with people who are very skeptical and against it, and are looking for evidence that it's not true, they'll just find it. But it's the law of attraction at work, right? Here's the other thing in terms of our, this is just how our brain works too. Our subconscious mind has all kinds of different roles, different jobs that it does, but one of them, very specifically, is to prove us right. So our subconscious mind's job is to prove our conscious mind correct. So whatever our conscious mind is focusing on, our subconscious mind will find evidence of, right? So again, there you go. So there's that mirror again. And I'll spend more time on this in a different video. But our subconscious mind has access to so much information at any given moment, so much more than what our conscious mind has available to it. So we really want to take advantage of that. But again, if we think it's too good to be true, again, consciously think, well, this is too good to be true, or other people are skeptical about it, so maybe I need to be looking for that evidence, our subconscious mind has no other choice but to prove us right. Okay? So whether you go with the description that the universe is a mirror, or our outside is a mirror of our inner world, or again, it's our subconscious mind looking to prove us right, either way, it just goes to show that what you look for, you're going to find. Okay? And here's the other thing. If you think it's not going to work for you, you'll just get proven right. So rather than go through all that rigmarole, what I'd really like you to do is play with me with this. And play with the fact that what if it is true? And this is really how I started. What if it is true? What if it is possible that this works? Wouldn't that be so cool, right? And when you start to think in that possibility thinking, amazing things start to show up. Absolutely amazing things start to show up. So you have a choice here. You can either go with that possibility thinking, or you can keep doubting. And going back to that, what I call the trinity of trouble, which is fear, doubt, and worry. And when you stay in that, chances are you're going to continue to get what you've always gotten. Now, honestly, I want you to ask yourself this question. Does that feel right to you? And here's how you'll know. The truth makes you feel lighter and kind of excited, but it makes you feel light. Something that's a lie or is not true or not good for you feels heavy. So you just want to keep asking yourself as we go through this, and with anything you encounter out there in the world, is just start checking in with yourself. This is really what this is all about, is checking in with yourself rather than with everybody else first, right? Because only you know what's best for you, right? You're the only one that can tell. And what's best for you might be really different for your twin brother, right? What's best for you might be very different for your wife or your husband or your child. So you want to keep checking in with you and what is best for you. All right? So I hope we've busted that myth, okay? The myth that we do just automatically know what we do want. And also that, busting down those things that people come up against, which is this too good to be true? Other people are skeptical, so what if they're right and I look foolish? Or what if this doesn't work for me? Again, first of all, sometimes you have to do some soul searching to understand what you do want, and I'm going to leave you with this exercise in a moment. But also, again, if the universe is a reflection of what's going on between our ears, then it's just going to keep feeding back to us what we're thinking. So if we're skeptical, again, if we live in that fear, in that trinity of trouble of fear, doubt, and worry, we're going to get more of that. And so we just need to shift. We just need to change this. And again, it's starting to go through this process. So I'm going to leave you here with step 2, which is know what you do want. And I actually want you to write a list of all the things you want to be, do, or have. I want you to write a huge list, okay? And then, with that top 1 through 5 on your list, I want you to prioritize what are the top 5 things on your whole list. I want you to start looking for evidence of this around you in your life right now, because it's here. Here's the thing. What you want and access to it, your deepest desire is here right now. And so what I'd really like you to do is start looking for evidence of it, okay? So here's something I want you to do for the next little bit. And this will actually just also show you how this all works. I want you to pay attention to green Volkswagens, okay? Just want you to start noticing if they're around, whether, in your city, wherever you go. I want you to start noticing that. And I'll actually talk about that in the next video. In the next video, I'll also talk about what to do with the do list, what it is that you do want, all right? So again, and I'll talk about what I find most people, what happens for them when they do this exercise. So this is step 2. Write down what you want to be, do, or have, and with those top 5 things, I want you to start looking for evidence of it around you and in your life right now. I also want you to start looking for green Volkswagens, okay? So thanks again so much for sharing your precious time with me. I hope that this has been informative and given you a lot more information and understanding about how the law of attraction works. When we come back for our next video, we're going to actually get into more of this stuff. And please go to my website, attractmorenow.com. There's more information. Sign up for the other videos. There's more videos coming. I have a list of people. What they do is they ask me questions. I am answering on videos. That specifically, that doesn't get posted on iTunes or anywhere. So again, this is specifically for the people who sign up for that. Go and get those videos. They're there for you. Tons of information for you. You can pick and choose much smaller snippets as well. Also, when you go to attractmorenow.com, go to the video tab and then check out this, and then go to the part where this video is. And if you have comments or questions, please write them down. I will be replying to them personally, so please go do that. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again so much for joining me today. My name is Karen Lanoue from attractmorenow.com. I'm signing off, so go out there and shift, shine, and grow. See you in the next video.